What's up, pussies? Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going over my thoughts and feelings of Skate 4 because I've been keeping up to date with the play testing, the trailers that they've been putting out, and to be honest, I am not impressed. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm quite worried about how this game is going to turn out, not only because of the reputation of how EA treat live service games, how live service games are in general, and just the time it's taking them to put this out while they're giving us the most pointless updates. Like they posted on Instagram the other day, like, we've got baggy trousers in there now, as instead of actually telling us like, oh, we're going to have a career mode, this skate is going to be in there, we're going to be working with this brand. Like, it seems like it's completely detached from the real world of skateboarding from what I've seen so far, and that kind of takes away some of the authenticity, some of the relatability, and just the recognizability of the whole thing. Like when you go into a skate game like Tony Hawk's, for example, you're looking through the boards, you got all the good brands, you got your Bakers, your Death Wish, your Elements, you got your Plan Bs, everything you need. You go into skate, are you going to have any of that? It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell to see if they've got any of these brands on board for this. But anyway, I've been rambling on for too long for an intro. So let me stick this on real quick and then we'll talk about it afterwards and move on through the timeline.
Warning, what you're about to see is pre-alpha. Things might look a little different than you're expecting, but we're still working on it. So, we told you we're back. And yeah, we're still working on it. But it's probably time we showed you where we've been. Where we are. And where we're going. We took what we know, what you told us, and started.
Something I'm only now realizing while I'm watching this, like for the first time in a while, is that these sound effects, like the whole skateboard sound effect, seems quite off to me. Like the grinding of the rail, the popping of the tricks, the landing of the tricks. Obviously, it's pre-alpha at this point, but I feel like that would be one of the easiest things to get right, no?
Building. But Sand of Amsterdam wasn't built in a day. We're giving you more freedom, more ways to express yourself. People are playing, and we're listening. So sign up. Come play. Help shape the future.
Okay, well, they've definitely got vans on board. Alrighty then, so in that trailer we saw very little when it comes to impressive gameplay, but that was over 2 years ago. Bearing in mind, right, Skate 1, Skate 2 and Skate 3, all three games from the start of production on Skate 1 to the end of production release on Skate 3, there was 3 years. Well, about 3 years. So with that being said, if they can put out 3 games that looked good back then, and to be honest, graphically, still kind of hold up to this day, because you played them in HD, at least Skate 2 and 3 were, I'm not sure about Skate 1, but it's just one of the craziest things that it's taken them this long to do almost nothing. For a game developer company like EA, it's very common that like when something needs to be changed, it has to go through so many layers of like developer teams and management and business people that it can take forever to make any meaningful changes. However, EA has always owned Skate. So why did it take them 3 years to make 3 games, like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago actually, and now that we've got all this new technology, all these new ways to make games, all these new engines, all this new stuff, and we're still taking 3 years to put Skate out? Like, they probably started development a decent amount of time before they put that video out that we just saw, and it's been over 2 years since then and we're still not got a release date. They've got pre-beta or pre-alpha testing going on. I think it was last week. One of my friends was doing it. He was telling me that the game was fun but quite bare bones, which is obviously to be expected for an alpha, but he said the fun wore off fairly quickly, but it does still kind of have that like soul, that vibe of a Skate 3. So it's still got potential for sure. But the fact that it's a live service game, as opposed to like, for example, having a storyline and then you can just do a bit of like co-op and multiplayer on the side, that's what worries me the most. because live service games are notorious for coming out in terrible conditions, unplayable almost in some cases once they've released them and have all like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of players coming on at once. The servers really get stressed and you really see the cracks start to show. It's very difficult to say whether Skate is going to be like that or not. EA have got a bit of a reputation for putting out some stinker games, but these game companies these days, they kind of just put the game out as soon as it's like in that barely playable state, and then they'll just slowly update and level it up as they go along, which has been like quite here and there when it comes to game development companies and actually keeping up to these promises. Like we saw the guys that made Batman Arkham Asylum, Rocksteady, they released that Suicide Squad game, I believe it was. I'll double check and put it on screen. But yeah, that came out. It was hyped to high heaven. Came out, was terrible on the live service front. And then because there was only like 4,000 or 5,000 people playing it, they were like, we ain't even going to update the live service anymore. And that was a game that you had to pay for. Skate 4 is going to be 100% free, which is good in some ways. Like everyone's going to get to play it, but it also makes me think that if the game was good enough that they thought that they could charge you $50, $60, then they certainly 100 million% would do that. So the fact that they don't even think they can ask you for money to play the game and they just wanted to sell you on microtransactions and updates and maybe DLC packs, skate competitions could be cool, to be fair. But if we're just buying like cosmetics, like we did see Vans shoes in that video we just watched, like if we're just buying Vans shoes with like real money virtually on the game, I think that's going to be terrible. And there's going to be people like whales for sure that are going to be spending crazy amounts of money. I just pray that it's not pay to win, because as soon as you start giving people like paid stat boosts, like, or if you pay this, you get this board, you get +2 to your ollie height or whatever. If they start doing stuff like that, it's going to be terrible. As long as it's just cosmetics, you can take it or leave it at that point. Like if it's just cosmetics, you don't have to buy them. You can buy them if you want. There's really nothing to complain about there. Skate 3 storyline, loved it. All the pros you could meet, all the situations you'd find yourself in, the skate jams, the Maloof Money Cup. It was one of the funnest games of the 2010s. And I mean, actually, I think it came out in 2009 or 2010. But yeah, the 2010s, I played that game dozens and dozens and dozens of hours. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, now that I've talked about the first video, I think we need to move on to what they've just put out recently. So let me switch over screen again onto this. This is the Skate Insider playtest highlights from February. So this is from 3 months ago. So let's jump in. I'm still not seeing any likeness of actual people we know or brands. Which, don't get me wrong, by the way, the brands aren't what is going to make the game, but having them involved is definitely going to push you in the right direction. It's going to get you a bit more credibility by the actual skate world. And number two, you're actually going to have some good feedback from people that know what skaters want to see. So the fact that they've not got them involved and they've just got Vans on so far is kind of worrying to me. Okay, so here we go again. What you just saw was 2 years after the first video. Now, can you see 2 years of progress when it comes to game development in those two videos compared side by side? No, not in the slightest. Considering 2 whole skate games, Skate 2 and Skate 3, were created in the time it took them to do the work between that first video we watched and that video just there. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. If this comes out later this year, it's going to be probably a buggy mess. And then after a few updates, maybe a year or two later, it will actually be playable, and hopefully there'll be some single player content, or they'll just focus it completely on playing with other people and messing around online. But as we know from Skate 3, while you can see your friends list and people that you have added on your accounts, you can see them skating around in the Skate 3 world, which actually, funny enough, reminds me of something. A friend of mine, sorry to get dark real quick, a friend of mine who sadly committed suicide actually lives on forever in Skate 3. Because in Skate 3, you have your friends list, right? And everyone you add on your friends list, you can find skating around the open world. My friend's name was Cam. His account was called Cam is a Ninja. And like every now and then when I used to go on Skate 3, like after he passed, I would see him riding around and stuff. And it kind of just made me feel like he's been immortalized in this game, which is something that I loved about Skate 3. It's another random thing to say, but I thought that was kind of cool regardless. But yeah, back to Skate 4. So the fact that it's going to be completely multiplayer, no single player whatsoever, is really, really what makes me upset about it. Similar thing with the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 remake, them taking out Bam, adding him back in, taking out the storyline, haven't yet added it back in, but who knows. But yeah, I really do want it to be good, but I really can't see it happening. And I know a lot of people want to say, oh, you could just play Sessions, you could just play Skater XL, but they're not comparable games. Like Skater XL and Sessions are realistic skate simulators, whereas Skate is more like an arcade type game where you know you're not doing realistic stuff. You're just doing crazy stuff for the sake of fun, and like you're destroying your character's body with Hall of Meat, which by the way, they haven't even said any Hall of Meat or anything like that is going to be back. So when I was rewatching the trailers, I found this little clip here that possibly was a hint to Hall of Meat, but nothing confirmed. And I did do a little bit of research outside of this. It seems though a few articles state that Hall of Meat will return, but I've not seen anything solid on the internet just yet. So potentially, but at the state of things so far, I probably wouldn't hold your breath, but hopefully. But yeah, so when it comes to any more skate news, we're going to have a quick little pop on their Instagram real quick because there's some funny stuff on there. Okay, so it looks like from a brief look at the Instagram that they are adding some more stuff in. Like I'd only seen a few posts on my feed, not actually looked at their account. So it does look like they are doing something. They've got a few characters, like a few people we've known from the skateboarding world, like Frankie Villaney, Devontae Jolly. We've got, I've never heard of this person here though, and a few more. But there's some brands, some extra brands in here. We've got the Vans that we saw. We've got Thrasher, I believe, there, but we haven't seen anything else when it comes to like what we're going to be able to skate, what boards we're going to have, what graphics. That's another Vans graphic right there. It seems to just be Vans and Thrasher. Let me click on this video right here because I think this is the funny one. So, well, let me put the. We know you've been asking for baggy pants, and we've been working on them. It's like put something better in the game. We don't care. Obviously, it's nice to have, but we don't care. You're going to be charging us real money for these. Like you're probably going to be paying like £8 or like $10 for a set of like 3 or 4 baggy jeans in a virtual game, which people will do. Don't get me wrong, people will do, and fair play if you want to, but yeah, I'd much rather just pay $60 for the game and it be a banger game than have it for free and just pay for microtransactions, you know? I mean, literally right here, look, I didn't even see this comment until now, but this says, how about ditch the loot boxes, sell the game for $60, add a single player offline story mode, and maybe, just maybe, invite pro skaters to do some voice acting. All I wanted was another skate game. 2,350 likes, very much deserves one from me as well. Let's have a look at the replies. They've been focusing too much on multiplayer and climb/flying around. We don't want Fortnite with skateboards. This one's going to be whack, but at least it's free. Good point. This is all we want. Wait, there's no story mode of Tim Robertson like Coach Frank. I'll start an effing riot, I swear to God. Yo, I'm not going to lie, we don't give a fuck about your cosmetics that are going to be trapped behind paywalls in a free game. We just want skate. This shit was announced 5 years ago or something, and there hasn't been any actual news about release date since. All we get is, we added baggy pants. Yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see how this is going. I do still pray and hope, please God, that skate will actually be good, but the way games have come out in recent years, I have got very, very little hope for this game. But hey, you never know. Companies can surprise you, but EA is not one that surprises people in good ways usually. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on what you think Skate 4 is going to be like, and I'll see you in the next video.